last lesson here. So again, in this lesson, there's not going to be anything new per se. There's going to be some new vocab, angle of elevation, angle depression we need to talk about. But the solving methods will be the same as usual. You got your 3 big ones. It's just knowing how to draw the picture. So we want to fill this in on that last slide we were doing in the notes today. So angle of elevation. This is the angle looking up. That's what elevation means. Elevation means up. So the angle looking up to a height from down below. So what this means is I'm standing down below. So here's me. Let's draw a little picture. I'll stick guy here. We are looking up. So we're going to draw a line that our eyesight would make, right? If I look up, that's the line my eyesight makes. So it's a diagonal line. It's actually the hypotenuse. That's my eyesight, yeah? So we can make a right triangle out of this, right? Let's go ahead and connect the dots, connect the ends. So this is my right triangle. So this right here is what we would call the angle of elevation. Kids get confused with this because they hear elevation and they think it's at the top because that's what elevation means. Elevation means up, right? But it's looking up from the ground. So just imagine that. Angle of elevation is I lift my chin, but I'm standing on the ground. So angle of depression is the opposite thing. Angle of depression, depression means downwards. So this is the angle looking down to the ground. So if I am depressed, I would sink my head down. Yeah. And then now that's my eyesight, right? If I sink my head down, depressed, that's the direction of my eyesight. So I'm standing up high. Here's where I am. I'm standing up high, but looking downwards. So that's the direction of my eyesight. I hang my head, I'm depressed. So this can again make our right triangle here. That's the angle of depression. So once more, do not get these confused. Depression looks downward from somewhere up high. Elevation looks upward from the ground. So just be careful. It's not what you think it is. Elevation, look up. Depression, look down. So all we're going to do 1, 2, 3. We're not going to solve these. We are actually just going to draw the picture. And then if you'd like to solve them, you will need to in the assignment. But I wanted to focus on just the picture drawing. Because once the picture is drawn, you should know what to do. Now, really quickly, I'm going to give you a second to pause the video here. This is the last lesson in the blue packet. It's labeled 8.4. But again, this is actually going to be 8.5 in Canvas. So take a second, get into your notes. This is the question. I had to type it myself. So this is the number 1 right there. I just had to type it myself. So take a second to get there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go piece by piece and make this picture. It says the angle of elevation from an observer to a hot air balloon in the air is 38 degrees. Okay, we just said angle of elevation is me lifting my chin and looking up. So if I'm down here on the ground, it helps sometimes to draw the person. I don't have to, obviously. I'm looking up. So let's draw that line. I'm here looking up. That's what elevation means. So this is the hypotenuse, and then all you do is make the right triangle off of that. So this angle right here, that's the 38 degrees. Let's go ahead and add that. And then I can complete my right triangle. Okay, so far so good. That is the angle of elevation. The hot air balloon is up here. If we want to, we can draw a hot air balloon. There we go. Little hot air balloon there. I'm looking at it. The observer is standing 50 feet from a point directly below the hot air balloon. So 50 feet is a side length. You have to know you got 1, 2, 3 sides. Where do you think the 50 is going to go? He's standing 50 feet away from the point directly below the hot air balloon. Think for just a little bit. Would that go here, here, or here? That's going to be at the bottom because he's standing 50 feet away from the point directly below the hot air balloon. So the next thing we have to do, the last thing you have to do is you need to mark your X. It says how high is the hot air balloon? So there's 2 more sides left. Which one of these is going to be X? How high up off the ground is the hot air balloon? that's going to be X here. This is not how high off the ground it is. You don't measure heights that way, right? Heights are always measured straight up and down. This is not considered a height. Okay, so there's the picture. Again, if you want to, you can pause the video and solve it. You should be able to use your cheat sheet. Ask yourself, do I have two sides or an angle and a side? Am I trying to find a side or an angle? And you can figure out what method to use. But let's go ahead and let's try the next one. Okay, so number 2, a Coast Guard in the top of a 100-foot lighthouse. So again, I'm going to break this into pieces. I'm going to do it piece by piece. A Coast Guard is standing at the top of a 100-foot lighthouse. How would you think I'd draw the 100 feet? What would that look like? I've got 3 sides to a triangle. Which one would that be? Well, that's going to be the up and down of the triangle, right? If that's the height of the triangle, that's going to be the up and down. And the Coast Guard is up here. I like to draw the person because that helps me visualize my next thing, which is an angle of depression. So again, angle of depression is we hang our head, we're depressed. And the line my eyesight makes, that's the angle of depression. So let's draw the line here. I'm looking downwards. I'm up here looking downwards. Here's that line. And then where is that 7 degrees going to go then? Right here. That's considered the angle of depression. And then I can finish my right triangle. Okay, and then don't forget, that's the pieces of info they give you, but we need to put an X by what they're trying to find. If you don't put an X, guys, in any case, you don't know what to do. It says, how far is the ship from the coast? So there's a ship out here. There's a little boat. Yeah. And I'm standing here in my lighthouse. Where is my X going to go? Trying to figure out how far the ship is from the coast. We got 2 more sides. What is it going to be? This is going to be how far from the coast we are, right? If here's the coast, that's where I'm standing. That's how far away it is. Good. Okay, last one. I want you guys to try this whole thing. So again, it's going to be a right triangle. Be careful. A boy is flying a kite and he has let out 25 feet of string. You want to visualize how that will look. Try and visualize a kite. Where would that 25 feet of string go? His dad is standing 10 feet away from the boy, and he is directly underneath the kite. We're looking for the angle of elevation. So it's going to be a right triangle. Take a second, really visualize this, guys. If you need to draw the boy and the kite and the dad, that might help you draw your right triangle. Go ahead and try it. Okay. So a boy is flying a kite and he has let out 25 feet of string. So this is actually going to be our hypotenuse now. Because the kite is out away from him. Kites are not directly up and down. So that's going to be our hypotenuse. The boy is standing here. He lets out 25 feet of string. There we go. And his kite's right here. Bop, 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 bop. That's what a kite looks like if you don't know. Okay. His dad is standing directly underneath the kite. So again, break it into pieces. Here's the dad. A little bit bigger. He's standing directly underneath the kite. Now, we don't know how far away underneath the kite he is, but we do know that he is standing 10 feet away, so there's the 10. Then we need to put an X by what we're trying to find. It says, what is the angle of elevation? So now our X is going to be an angle. Angle of elevation is looking up, so double check. Where would the angle of elevation have gone? Up here by the kite or down here by the boy? Angle of elevation is standing on the ground looking up, so that's our X. Okay, now again, in the actual assignment, you will have to actually solve them, but the hardest part is picking all the little pieces apart and drawing your picture.